Karen,
Yes.
guess what?
What?
You get to sleep with the lights on tonight.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we're specifically taping this during the day, so it gives you enough time to get over the scary parts of it by the time you go to bed.
So it's going to be a funny movie marathon after this.
I think so. Maybe queuing up the Friends marathon or something. But now, if you enjoy creepy stories, then this is absolutely the episode for you. My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
we both want to believe.
so we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something
Anything
that will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the
Skeptic
Skeptic Metaphysicians. Welcome to the Skeptic Metaphysicians. I'm Will.
And I'm Karen.
And we are the hosts for this particular journey of discovery. Our next guest, having practically grown up in an extremely active haunted house in St. Augustine, Florida, she's always loved chatting about her experiences over the years. That's why on January 1st of 2020, she started her blog, True Hauntings. Now, after some encouragement from family and followers, she actually published her first fictional book called Parade of Nightmares on October 1st of 2020. And on April 15th of 2021, she finally gave in and started her podcast called True Hauntings and Scary Stories. And it's been met with an amazing outpouring of love and support. And she's here with us today to talk to us about all things hauntings. And I cannot stress enough how excited I am to have Cynthia Seer on the show to talk to us about all things ghost stories. Cynthia, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, I know Karen is all kinds of excited, but maybe not in the way that you're hoping.
I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm mostly excited.
All right, so let's just set the table. We're both real chicken. And when it comes to ghost stories, we're not real happy about them, but we love talking about them. We talked about the fact that you started this from peer pressure, which is always a great way to start something. But what moves someone to create content, true content, not fictional content, about ghosts?
Honestly, it's been my entire life building to this point, frankly. My grandparents bought a house that was extremely haunted, and I basically grew up there. I say that because we spent probably every weekend at their house growing up. And when I was little, they were refurbishing it because it was condemned when they bought it. And so I remember it being in shambles with holes in the floor and all that stuff. And then them just building it up to what it was growing up was amazing. But the family that lived there before them was very sketchy, and they are still there. And I just grew up around it so much that you cannot convince me that spirits and ghosts or whatever don't exist. I just know better. I just know better. So
you grew up in a house completely in shambles with holes in the walls, the typical cobwebs in the corners.
yeah.
Not at all haunted. And yet there's a family that still lives there right now, and they didn't say, sorry, baby, we got to move, right? What kinds of things did you experience in the house that convinced you that this was real?
So the main story of the house is that the family that lived there were a family of ex-carny performers and workers and stuff.
Lovely.
And they retired. Yeah, they retired in this house. And so they were reclusive. They never left. There was a child of incest born, and it was like the family secret. And so they kept him on the third floor of the house. It's a big, sprawling Victorian Gothic house. And it looks like the quintessential haunted house, frankly. And so they kept him on the third floor. And when he got to be 5 or 6, he angered the main lady of the house. And she locked up the third floor, and she would not let anyone up there to tend to him. And he starved to death up there. So the story is that then they proceeded to bury him in the backyard. So there are doors slamming, cold spots, voices that you can hear with your ears, and you can catch EVPs, which I have lots of those. And just every kind of ghost story phenomena you can think of happens there regularly.
Wow. So not only is it a feel-good story,
right?
But it also really sets the tone for the rest of your life. Now, you did send us a few of those EVP recordings. We're going to play them here in a little bit. I previewed them, and you have to really be listening carefully to hear the thing, right? Because we hear you on them, but you have to really listen carefully. So we'll warn the viewers or the listeners right before we start playing them, so you could really pay attention in the spaces between. But we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
So did you sleep there?
Yes.
And if you did, how could you sleep there?
Well, that was normal to me. In fact, when I got into school, elementary school, I believe, I became surprised that other kids didn't have grandparents with haunted houses. That was my normal. So I was like, "What do you mean your grandma's house isn't haunted? Like, that's weird."
Wow. So you're spending the nights, you're sleeping in this house, and all of this stuff is going on, and you talked about the cold spots and the door slamming. Did it feel like evil and oppressive, or was it just like, "Hello, here I am," sort of thing?
Not really. And my nanny, which is my grandmother, she used to always call them spooks. And she would always
Mhm.
say, "Oh, honey, it's just the spooks. They're nice. They won't bother you." And nobody was ever scratched or bitten or hurt. They did have trouble keeping contractors in the house when they were fixing it up. They would hire, say, drywallers, and they would just leave. They would work a day or two and just say, "Sorry, we can't do this job." And they just leave.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I
So
can't imagine actually living there, much less working there. I would be one of those contractors to be like, "See ya," the
yeah.
minute I heard something. And we'll talk about some of those stories in a little bit. But what do you think they are? I mean, you mentioned you didn't feel any evil intent or things like that. But I mean, is it in your estimation trapped souls after they pass? Is it energies? What do you think that these hauntings are?
So I am an anomaly because I am an atheist who believes
Mhm.
in ghosts. So my best guess would be that the human body has energy in it. Like that's a known fact.
Mhm.
So my best guess would be when the body passes away, that energy remains. And I kind of feel like we as individual energy sources, maybe we're able to either choose to stay together as an energy source and kind of go about the earth, or maybe we're able to dissipate and just kind of join the universe. Maybe we have that ability. I don't know. I kind of feel like our energy remains, and especially I would think if you meet a tragic demise like that, you know, the little boy's not the only one to die in the house. There have been natural deaths in the house too of that family, several actually, but because they never left. But the little boy, he was mentally handicapped too. So to meet a starvation death like that when your caregivers just stop showing up and you slowly go like that, that must be very tragic. And I don't think
Oh.
he would have understood it either. So maybe that's why the energy is still there. I don't know.
Well, the house that you grew up in was just the beginning. You have created an entire blog and a podcast, a show about these true hauntings. Can you give us some of the most hair-raising experiences that people get tune into either your podcast or your blog would find?
Okay, so my favorite story of something that happened to me personally didn't even happen in my grandparents' house. It actually happened to me at a movie theater randomly. We took our kids to go see Secret Life of Pets. So that's how the time frame, that's how long ago.
Mhm.
And we just went to our local theater that we like to go to. And in the middle of the movie, I had to take a restroom break. So I excused myself and there was nobody in the halls or in the restroom either. It was all empty. And I went in and I went into a stall. And right when I closed the stall door, I heard somebody come in. The restroom had the swinging doors. So, like, you could really hit it if you were running and really knock it open. That's what it sounded like. Somebody really hit that door coming in. And I saw with my eyes, legitimately, I saw child's feet run past, bare feet run past my stall and go into the one next to me. And my first thought was, who is letting their child run around barefoot in a theater? That's weird. So I just thought, whatever, just leave me alone. Like, Don't peek your head under the stall or anything. Just leave me alone. So then the child, I think it was a boy because he had that tone in his voice and he was making little robot noises and he was like beep boop boop, and he's playing and he gets into the stall and he starts splashing in the toilet water.
Oh.
And I'm a bit of a germaphobe. So then my next thought at that point is do not get that on my feet. Like, I cannot with this. Who is letting their kid do this? I can't. So I'm trying my best to ignore him and he's bebop booping or whatever. And then he goes in this robot voice, he goes, "What's your name?" And I was just like, nope, not interacting with this kid. Like, so I ignored him and he beep boop boop kept going. And then he splashes some more. And then he goes, "I asked you a question," like in the robot voice. And I just thought, nope, not interacting with you. I'm not about it. So he keeps doing his beep boop booping. And I finish and I'm getting ready to go. And he starts giggling and laughing. Right. And when I come out of my stall, the first thing I do is look in the one next to me. And the door is like partly open, like a stall door would be if nobody was messing with it. So I kind of push it open. There's nobody in the stall. There's no water anywhere, but I can still hear him laughing. But he sounds kind of like he's going
Okay,
away
here
from me,
come the
like down.
goosebumps.
So I've never washed my hands so fast in my whole life. There was
I'm
no
surprised
saying
you
else
took the
that-
time to wash your hands. I would have been like, gone.
But that stuff
Hand
happens to
sanitizer
me
wipes.
all the time. I'm so
Wow.
sensitive to it, I guess.
Well, then I wonder too, though, if since you were raised in a house like that, if those energies kind of connected with you and they're connected to you, they're following you.
Maybe. Maybe. My nanny always was a little sensitive to things too. So maybe it's a family trait. My oldest son like feels and hears and sees things sometimes also. I have 3 sons. And so far he's the only one. So, I don't know.
Well, then we touched on the EVPs that you sent us, right? It's an electronic voice phenomenon. And just so that we set the scene, these EVPs, it's a way of capturing electronic signals that may not be apparent when you're present. Right. So sometimes it's recorded voices or different sounds and things like that. Yours, you sent us 3 of them, and yours had a voice recorded on it. Now it was whispers, right?
Yes.
And we mentioned the fact that you'd have to listen very carefully. So let's try to play the first one and see if we can't catch it. Karen?
All right.
Okay. Now that's very difficult to hear, but let's play it one more time. Okay. So you can clearly, well, not clearly, but you can actually hear a whisper in between the footsteps. And Cynthia, what does that one say?
That one, I believe, is saying, "What's your name?" And the story behind that is I was in the house with my second cousin, and he had not heard all the stories about the house. He knew the general thing, but he didn't know the details. So I was taking him through the house and kind of showing him the parts of the house where things happen. And we were on the 3rd floor coming out of the room that my nanny always thought the boy passed away in. And I had just thought that I heard a whisper, and I didn't catch that whisper on the audio. But what I did catch afterward, I said, I thought that I heard somebody whisper my name. And I told him that. And he said, "Well, if you hear anything on that recording, you better tell me because I was with you and that is creepy." And right after he said that, I chuckled. And then right after I chuckle, I caught that whisper. And I swear, I think with headphones, I feel like it's saying, "What's your name?" And we had just said, I thought somebody whispered my name.
Wow. Karen, let's play that one more time and see if we can hear it.
Totally heard it.
I heard it that
totally
time.
heard it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I heard it that time. Let's play one more time.
Wow.
One more time. Play.
Oh God, that's freaky.
Okay. Okay. The chills are among us. Yep. Absolutely.
gosh.
All right. Well, that's exciting. Not really, but it's a little scary. Okay. So that one is now that we can know what to listen for. We can definitely hear it. I definitely heard it. Karen definitely heard
Yep.
it. Is it typical of the EVPs that you capture that are, I mean, it's that subtle, or have there ever been a time where it's been like really in your face?
Well, one of the ones that you have is going to be really in your face, I feel like. It's whispering
Okay.
over top of my voice, but once you focus in on the whisper, I feel like you're going to get it.
Okay. Well, then let's play the second one, Karen,
All
see if we
right.
can find it.
This is like a creepy game.
So don't say anything stupid.
I heard the
I
whisper.
heard
I'm not sure I
something.
know
All
what it
right, let's
said, but
play
I
it
heard the
again.
whisper.
That's the
Play it
one.
again, Karen.
Okay.
I hit record. So don't say anything stupid.
It sounds like that's my daughter, or what's my daughter? I don't know. What do you hear, Will?
Well, play it one more time.
Okay.
I hit record. So don't say anything stupid.
I don't know what it says. I wish I did. What, Cynthia? Break the
Okay,
tension.
so that is right when we went in the house to look at everything. So my nanny and another woman were outside talking. My cousin and I were the only ones in the whole 3-story house. And I usually hit record on my phone, on my smartphone, just a normal recording app, not like a paranormal app or anything. Just because I catch stuff almost every time. So we got halfway up the stairs to the second floor when I remembered to do that. So I stopped him. I said, "Hey, wait, I should hit record just in case I catch something." And he says, "Okay." So I hit record and then we were goofing off. So I said to him, "Okay, I hit record. So don't say anything stupid like snicker or whatever." While I'm saying that, I just hit record. While I'm saying that, somebody is whispering over top of me, "What's going on? What's going on?" As if they're like, "What are you doing?" Because we stopped in the middle of the stairs and I hit record. So that's what I thought it said.
Okay, now that we know what to listen for, let's
Right.
play it again, Karen.
I hit record. So don't say anything stupid.
Oh,
totally
I can
what's going on.
totally see it. I can hear it. That's amazing to how it clarifies for you. Now, in full disclosure, we definitely heard the whisper. We just weren't sure what it was saying, but we absolutely heard the whisper, and that's a little freaky. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The hair is standing up on the back of my arms. It's
I
pretty
think the
crazy.
coolest thing about my grandparents' house is that I want to say every EVP I've ever caught there has been appropriate to the conversation. So in paranormal society, we would call that an intelligent haunt, meaning they are interacting with us. They're not just residual. They're not just an energy that's moving through the room or anything like that. They're actually interacting with us.
Yeah, that makes it so much worse.
Right?
Wow. Okay, so do you just record hours and hours and hours and hours and then sift through it with a fine-tooth comb to try to find the EVPs, or do you just stumble
Yes,
on them?
sometimes. So that recording was only 4.5 minutes long, and I caught what I think are three different whispers. The last one that you haven't played yet, that one is really tough because that one's very, very soft. And I found that one like weeks later. But sometimes I record myself sleeping. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and just have that feeling that something's there. And I'll
Nope.
just hit record. And then, yes, I have 6 hours of my husband snoring that I have to sift through.
Wow. All
Oh,
right. Well,
man.
now I've got to hear the third
Okay.
one now. So Karen,
right.
let's
Yep.
go ahead and play that one. I heard a whisper.
I heard something.
I heard a whisper. Let's play it again. Okay. I mean, you could definitely hear it. But now, when you clarify it for us, it makes it becomes obvious at that point. How do you use anything to slow it down or clarify it somehow to really identify what the EVP is saying?
I didn't back then. I just put on decent quality headphones and I listened to that bad boy over and over and over. And I have my son listen to it and my husband and whatever friend I have who's willing, because a lot of my friends don't want anything to do with it. And I just basically study that sound for a, a long time before I finally decide, okay, this is what I think maybe it's saying.
Wow. Okay, well then let's play one more time, Karen, and see if we can discern it before
Okay.
Cynthia actually tells us what it is. May I something? Okay, what's it saying?
So in that moment, we were in the room on the third floor that my nanny always kind of thought the boy passed in. And I was telling my cousin that, and I was pointing to the spot where she thought maybe he laid down and died. When they bought the house, it was condemned and the floors wood, and they supposedly left him there for a while before they dealt with it. So the floor was all nasty and they had to replace it. So that's why she thought that particular spot was it. So I was telling
Mhm.
my cousin that, and during our conversation, we caught that whisper. And I think I have two options. I think it's either saying not here or right here. And that's really interesting because either one, whichever one it is, that, maybe it's saying, nope, not there, or it's saying, yes, it's there or
Right.
over there. I don't know. I feel like it's something there. Not
Oh,
there is what I kind of settled on, but I don't know.
All right. Okay. Now that
okay.
we know,
Yep.
let's play it again.
Not here. That's
Yeah,
what it
that's
is.
what it
It's not
sounds like right
here.
here.
Not
Yeah.
here. Play it one more time, Karen.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So I, full disclosure, I've heard lots and lots and lots of EVPs, and everyone's telling me, "Oh my God, it said pineapple," and I'm saying all I'm hearing is, I'm not hearing anything. Right? I've never been able to hear something in any
Mhm.
EVPs. I can absolutely hear these whispers. So this is the first time that I'm actually hearing clear EVP. That's astounding and a little scary. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm telling you, their house is the real deal, man. One time we were trying to help my nanny find her purse. My son and I, we couldn't find her purse and we needed to leave. So we were looking for it. And my son and I were up in her library. It's a big, sprawling house. So she actually had a library on the second floor. And we were in there looking, and I suddenly had that feeling wash over me, like like something was there. So I whipped out my phone and I hit record, and just seconds after I hit record, we caught a very clear female voice that says, "Over there, it's over there." Very
Wow.
clear. I didn't send you that one, but yeah, it's just
Oh,
like the others.
Oh
wow,
my
that's
gosh.
amazing. So now how since these energies obviously are attached to you and they're following you around, does it affect like your family at all? Do your kids ever say, "Mommy, what the heck's going on?"
Well, I have never lived in a house that wasn't haunted. And
Ooh,
for a while I thought I have terrible luck. But then I realized that it's not the houses really that are haunted so much. It's me. So wherever I go, these things happen to me. I go to friends' houses and stuff happens. I joke that if you want to know if your house is haunted, just invite me over and I'll let you know. So, yeah, things happen to my kids and my husband occasionally. The biggest thing that happens to them is that my kids will hear me call them or my husband call them when we didn't, or we will hear them call us when they didn't. That's a really common one in our household.
So, do you think is it that you're attracting these entities or energies, or do you think you're just more sensitive and so you see them more than the average Joe?
I think it might be a case of both. So I feel like maybe this is all just me guessing, but I
Mhm.
feel like if you are sensitive to those things, I think they can tell and they come to you. Like, I
Okay.
feel like maybe that's what's happening.
like a torch in the night.
Mhm.
You kind of
Right.
attract them off to the flames kind of thing.
Have you ever had any just negative, bad experiences where you're like, "What the hell? Get me out of here."
I must be very lucky because I don't think I have had negative per se. I've felt neutral things and
Mhm.
I've felt really positive things, but I don't really believe in demons and all that kind of stuff. So I don't feel like I've had that happen to me. Yeah, maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe I
Mm,
only attract the nice ones.
I like that.
yeah.
And what is the most positive experience you've had?
Oh, I'm gonna try to say it without tearing up. So my grandpa passed away in 2012, and he's come to me in my dreams twice to warn me about things. So although he was warning me about not so great things, I feel like that was positive. But
Mhm.
my nanny passed in January on um January 20th of 2021. So just a year and a half ago is when she passed. And when I went to their house for her funeral, we had the funeral at the church and then we all went to the house to kind of socialize.
Mhm.
And my husband and I went there, and as I always do, I hit record on my phone while I was in the house. And that recording is not as easy to hear because there were so many people in the house with me
Mhm.
talking. But I did catch a whisper right at the end. I was actually about to turn my phone off because we were about to go downstairs and leave. And I caught a whisper that I can only assume must be her because it said, "I'm okay. Don't forget about me."
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
So
Wow.
I've never published that one. I don't think I ever will because I really
Mhm.
think surely it must be her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not
But
much doubt.
yeah,
Now, I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but you see in all those CSI shows and things like that, right? That there's like a way that you can minimize the some sound frequencies and bring others out. Have you ever had something like this analyzed and tried to get these sounds, these whispers to be more apparent?
no, but I am 100% open to that. I would love it. I just don't know how to do it. If I
Right.
could find somebody that did, I would absolutely have them do that, especially that one, because I want to hear that one more clearly. There's another one I caught when she was still living, but grandpa was passed, where we were about to leave the house with her. And I swear it says, take care of, or no, it says, look after her. But it's really drawn out. It's like, look after her. And I would love to have that one kind of clarified also.
Mhm.
Maybe it was my grandpa. I don't know.
So, anyone who's listening to the show, if you are an expert in audio processing and want to help out, we would really appreciate you reach out to either Cynthia or us. We'll get you all connected because we want to hear the after effects as well. 'Cause
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be super exciting. Now, you mentioned that you tend to bring things with you when you go into people's houses. Does it happen electronically also? Like, do Karen and I need to worry about stuff happening now?
Listen, when you
Boy.
edit this, pay
Oh,
special attention. Don't just kill little sounds that you think you don't want. Listen to them first because I have caught EVPs while recording with other people on several occasions.
No, but they're good.
Yeah, they've never
That's what I
been
tell
bad.
myself
It's not
too.
like I'm
I
gonna
mean,
kill you in your sleep or anything, but
now that's in my head. No.
yeah.
sorry.
Thanks, Cynthia.
I am a horror
Yeah.
author, so
Right, right. Well, now on the flip side, you mentioned the most inspiring or touching experience. Can you share with us your most frightening experience?
it's gotta be in my grandparents' house. Um, oh gosh. So my cousins, I'm one of the younger cousins. I have a big family, and a couple of my cousins thought it would be hilarious to tie me to a chair on the third floor and leave me there for a couple hours.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I cried a lot. They just sat down on the lower floors and listened to me whimper and thought it was hilarious. But there was one point when I was stuck in that chair and there was this armoire kind of thing beside me and it had a mirror on the front of it and I swear I knew in my kid brain, I must have been like 10. I just knew, don't look at that mirror. Just don't look at it.
Oh man.
Something's there, just don't look. So I sat there with my eyes closed and begged for them to untie me and let me go.
Wow.
So that was probably my scariest.
I mean, that's like straight out of a movie somewhere where the kids tie someone else up and then you're trapped with this thing that's crawling its way towards
Oh
you.
Oh
god.
God. Really, Will? Oh my
I
God.
mean, we
Right.
gotta go there. Let's go there, right?
Ugh.
Trying to break out of the mirror. Oh
Wow.
Ugh.
gosh.
Holy
Yeah,
smokes.
mirrors freak me out at night. I don't like to walk
I
by
don't
mirrors
look
at
at
night.
it. My
Yeah.
bathroom has a big mirror that I have to walk past to use the restroom, and I just look everywhere else but. I just have this thing. I don't know if it's real or not. I just don't wanna test it. I'm
Yeah,
too
I feel the
sensitive.
same way.
I'm haunted on a good day. I don't wanna give them any way to get to me.
All right. So now you mentioned that some of your friends really are not hip to what you're saying and doing, but your friends, your family, do they all think you're off your rocker, or do they? Is it real? Like they believe it's all real?
Well, a fair number of my family members have had their own experiences in that house. I'm certainly not the only one. So, one of my cousins, in fact, one of the ones that tied me to that chair, he says that during the night he had to sleep in the library that night, which my grandmother loved porcelain dolls. And guess where she
Oh,
kept them?
Oh, I'm out. I'm
yeah,
out,
no,
So,
out, out, out.
with the eyes that close and open.
he had to
Mm.
sleep there. And he says that during the night he was hearing things and he felt really uncomfortable. And at one point, he said that a picture frame on the shelf fell off the shelf by itself and broke. The glass in it broke, and that he ran off. But the next morning, when he found it, the frame was not broken and it was back on the shelf where it was supposed to be.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's karma. That's they
Right.
were punishing him for being mean to you.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Wow. That's, I mean, eye-opening,
Yeah.
scary, exciting, all at the same time.
There was another time when my older cousins were downstairs in the living room. I was not present for this, so I was told this story. My grandpa told me that they were all down there and they were joking and laughing and making fun of the previous family. They were joking about them. And
Okay.
he said in the middle of that conversation, they heard and felt a loud boom, like someone on the third floor pushed a dresser over or something. And grandpa went running upstairs to see what happened. He thought something was damaged, did not find a single thing out of place, but that boom was so loud that it shook the house.
Wow.
So they stopped talking bad about them.
Yeah, I would.
You know, if you know you're living in a haunted house, you don't talk about the previous owners of the house because they're the
No.
ones haunting the house.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Oh my
Oh my gosh.
gosh.
You've already mentioned the fact that you're an atheist, but you
Mhm.
believe in ghosts. So
Mhm.
do you believe in life after death as well? Or is this it after we pass out?
Well, I think that our energies could maybe go on. I joke all the time that I fully intend to hang around and I've got a list of people to haunt. So you better watch out. In fact, I
Can
told
we
my
not be on your
husband
list, please? We
early.
like you and all, but
I used to tell my husband that I was going to leave pennies everywhere, that that's how he would know it was me if I passed first. But we've been married 24 years now, believe it or not. And now it's transitioned to, you know what? I'm going to flick pennies at your forehead. That's how you'll know.
wow. Okay. Well, I mean, this has been, I don't know what the right
Yeah.
word for it is, exciting and scary all at the same time, but super intriguing. If someone wanted to listen to your show or reach out to you, what's the best way for someone to do that?
Well, I'm on pretty much all the podcasting apps. So you just search True Hauntings and Scary Stories. My website is truehauntings.com. And then I'll take you pretty much anywhere you want to be. I have a Facebook group that people are welcome to join, and I'm in there every day. We post silly memes and just people tell their spooky stories. Whenever something happens to me, I post it there. I think a few weeks, maybe a month ago, I posted about seeing a random girl sitting on my side of the bed as I walked past my bedroom. So it's a lot of that stuff,
Karen is loving this
Nope.
conversation.
right? And I had to go to sleep that night.
Oh
It's a
my
little
gosh.
Oh
Yeah,
awkward.
my
no.
God. Yeah.
I've been in a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You comfortable here? I gotta go.
So,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Well, we're going to lay in all the links directly to your site and your socials and your show and everything directly on our show notes. So if you are interested in listening to the show or reaching out to Cynthia, all you have to need to do is go to skepticmetaphysicians.com and go to her episode page, and you will find those direct links there. Makes it super, super easy. Cynthia, I love your show. I love your stories, even though it's like a love-hate relationship,
Oh my
honestly.
god.
But thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your stories with us. I encourage anyone who likes this types of hauntings and scary stories to connect, because you are probably one of the most out people. Like the EVPs are absolutely, you can definitely hear it, which is the first time I've heard them. So I'm intrigued. I'm gonna look for more for sure. But thanks for coming on the show.
thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for coming along on this journey of discovery with us. We'd really love it if you do us the honor of helping us get the show into the hands of those that could really benefit from it. If you know anyone that you think would enjoy our conversations, please feel free to share the show with them. And if you're listening to this on the radio and miss anything, Not to worry, all of our shows, including this one, can be found at skepticmetaphysician.com, where you can also watch the videos or even send us email or voicemails directly from the site. We absolutely love feedback and would appreciate hearing from you as well. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we have. That's all for now. We'll see you on the next episode of The Skeptic Metaphysicians. Until then, take care.